kind of like this song. I still have no idea why it's playing. I don't know, maybe the Golden Rhinos just really like this sort of thing. Maybe this is their genre all along, not the authoritative rap stuff that Jet Set Radio Live has associated with Rokaku. Can't wait for the song to end just to listen to the whole thing. I'm curious now though if we... But it's gonna keep playing, isn't it? I'm curious, if we go into settings, can we... No, I think you can... Isn't there somewhere you can see something related to music that plays? So this song's probably on this list. Memories from the game. Also, welcome back to JSRFMP. Some memories from the game. More songs I recognize. Whatever the high-rise song is. Remix concept I love that I'm not actually familiar with. I might have heard on Jet Set Radio Live, I don't know. Original Jet Set Radio music I haven't actually been listening to. I haven't had on here. No songs that I don't recognize. Slow. I don't know what slow is. There might be a song or two. I don't know if there are any songs that are specific to the Japanese version. I know there are a few songs I haven't heard much because they were only in the original Jet Set Radio when I played the PSN release. So Ollie King. Alternate mixes of a couple songs. Another sucker. Could be that. That one seems like the odd one out. I don't know. Also, you know I like JSRFMP. Phone screen, just to see. I wanted to see what the JSRF phone screen looks like in this. He plays this guy a little bit more though. We gave Roboy this time the spotlight, so let's give this guy a chance as well. Should probably have the JSRFMP pickups off, just because it's kind of optimal for racing. Not that I need much help getting good times on these, especially since I'm cap cheating by shuffling anyways. I'm pretty sure I did my racing in the daytime at this place, so... Oh-huh. Can't change the weather. I don't know why. Ooh. Oh, does this allow you to actually see the hint text? Also, that's a kind of crude recreation, admittedly. Especially compared to the rest of this game. Being very, very faithful otherwise. But anyways. If it means I can see the text, I might have to do that instead. But I do honestly really like the new loading screens, so I prefer to use them generally. Just by muscle memory, I ended up pressing the power button there. Yeah. Oh, I was wondering. Collisions are weird there. Oh, collisions are weird everywhere. Okay. So it seems like, I don't know if collisions were really remade from the ground up here. Feels kind of like what happened was the collisions are produced from the 3D models instead of using the original collisions of the game. Which produces some interesting results sometimes. Like being able to go places you actually couldn't because there aren't any invisible walls, for instance. By the way, the actual contender here is not Dreambot, it's actually just the Dreamcast. Dreambot's just the deliverer of the Dreamcast. Weird how that looks sometimes. But so, one thing that's interesting is, back in the original JSRF, you could actually just go straight through some of those. Interesting how the tower isn't there too, by the way. Which I imagine is a fairly deliberate detail. But original JSRF, you could actually go straight through some of those walls if you just hopped. They only had collisions like at the very ground. I actually found that completely by accident one day when I was recording a video about how much damage different things in the game do. I find myself oftentimes in an awkward situation in races in JSRF where I'm accumulating cannons but I'm not using them. The reason oftentimes being it tends to feel like I'm already optimizing most of my movement to where I'm going really fast, or I'm basically maximizing my speed in most moments. Jeez. Can't really bring his hands up. He won. I have no idea what you just said, but yeah, I agree. Beautiful. Press tab, I think that said. Now I can actually learn things from these loading screens, now I can read them. Since I kind of promised her... Did I promise her anything? I don't know. I said she was going to go for racing, kind of. At least to make Philip Shocker useful for something. Right, every time. You need to start saving defaults. At least your previous options. Or you just maybe not make it a drop down. If you only have two choices, it shouldn't be a drop down. It should probably just be either a toggle with like a check mark, or maybe two radio buttons at most. I don't remember where we did Highway 0, day or night. Actually, I feel wrong doing Highway 0 with Love Shockers. Looks like I see it feels a little bit better. Where are they affiliated with? Which show are they affiliated with? Love Shockers. In JSRF they appear... I think don't they only appear in Death Ball, and I guess that one time in Hikage, which would be Shibuya-cho, so I guess Omizaka or Chuo would be appropriate for them, but Omizaka feels better. Check there for more stamina. Interesting, you say stamina here, but I noticed that you don't say stamina in the stats screen, you just say health. Alright. Trying to make you guys useful for something. Hello! Okay. Excuse me, I said you're so supposed to be useful. I'm trying so hard to do. Good. Good. Any kind of technique. I'm trying to grind something, or actually use a shuffle or something. I'm just gonna not get that to happen. It's probably better. I can't imagine it's better to go down here. Maybe. It's interesting though seeing the disparity between how hard different people find these races. Because for me these are kind of ridiculously easy. All of these races. Mostly because I'm using shuffles. Oops. I was trying to jump. Okay. Even if I kind of flub things like that from time to time, my time gains from using techniques that Screen Racer doesn't make up for it. On the other hand, though, I'm actually not too sure a lot of people find tough about this. Maybe it really is just the shovels though, because shovels will make a big difference. I see lots of talk about like real optimization oriented things, whenever people say they have trouble getting shit times. Like minimize the time you're in the air. Maybe use shovels. Stick to rails and things like that. These are generally, I think, fairly obvious. But things that, in a lot of cases, won't actually save you that much time. They're more like fine-tuning sorts of things. Whereas I managed to mess up all sorts of things, I feel like. Like, these are definitely not super clean runs that I'm doing, but I don't know how much I'm getting jet by, but I'm still managing to get jet every time. Without any worry. To me, it really is just that doing shuffles makes that much of a difference. I guess the game seems kind of forgiving about the time for shuffles and reserving your speed. I don't know if that's deliberate or not, but it's helpful for me. With how I have to keep the stick neutral whenever I start a shuffle, otherwise I'll jump and or boost dash or whatever at the same time. It's tricky for me to do such things optimally. Ah. And again, it's not like I actually personally like speedrun the game or anything like that. It's not like I put, whoops, that's why I was saying was happening when I try to do shovels. Yeah, like look at that. How did I manage to keep as much speed as I did there? I just have a general idea of how to approach each of these races. Some rules of thumb and just being familiar with the courses. And that managed to let me get jet on everything first time. I don't know. Maybe I take for granted being familiar with this game's mechanics as much as I am. It might be it. Because, I mean, of course, whenever I watch new people play JSRFMP Future, they have trouble. They don't know about things like doing tricks and things like that, which the game doesn't tell you about until through, in fact. Assuming you even do the tutorials at all, which you might not. And you just have to get used to the movement in general. And then, of course, for, like, optimization, for, like, doing races well, there's one, knowing the courses, but two, also knowing matters like shuffling and things like that, how to preserve speed. But I personally don't. I would expect that most people, or at least a good portion of the people that are into this game, would have something like that degree of familiarity with the game. Apparently I'm wrong though. I would figure that generally, with how old this game is, the original JSRF, anyone that's still left paying attention to it would be someone who has been familiar with it for a long time, and thus is fairly familiar with it, but I guess I'm wrong about that. Not that this game shouldn't be accessible though. In any case, I'll see you guys next episode, when we take on more races, just for fun. And then maybe something else for variation, I'm not sure. I don't know.